Hello and welcome to all of, excuse me, my beautiful vibrant souls with their North Node in Capricorn. So I'm really excited to do this reading for you guys today. It's been a while since I've done an Astro series, so I'm really excited to be back in the little star saddle here. So I want to kind of explain how this reading is going to be structured for you. So this reading is meant for all of my lovely vibrant souls who have their North Node in Capricorn, as well as any cross watchers who are interested. Maybe you have somebody special in your life who has their North Node in Cap, and you're like, oh, what is this all about? Whatever your flight of fancy, this is meant for you. North Node in Cap. So I want to explain to you kind of a little bit about what this placement means. I also have oracle cards that, excuse my hiccup, are going to be information from your guides about this placement, right? In terms of this is going to represent the energy that you're being encouraged to embody to help move you toward your North Node. There are two cards here that are going to serve as the topics or areas of life that this is kind of specifically referencing at this point in your journey. And then there's kind of a message from your guides, and we will pull clarifying tarot. I want to kind of start by saying what the North Node is. Before we even get into that though, I do want to say with the massive caveat here that this is just talking about having North Node in Cap. This is not necessarily indicative of, or not necessarily indicative. Okay, let me back up. Back up, Sinessa. So this is really just talking about the sign that it's in, but keep in mind that it's equally important to look at what house it's in. And I would also recommend looking at how it's aspected, right? So, anything that we're talking about here is going to be impacted by the other factors of your personal astrology, or, if you're cross-watching this person's personal astrology. So keep that in mind. If you are interested in a reading like this for yourself, it's not one that I currently offer in my shop, but I'm happy to do a custom order request. So please feel free to do that. I'm actually going to be including my personal business email, my direct email, in the description box. You can always email me for a custom reading or request one through my shop, the link for which is also in the description box. So getting into it. North Node in Capricorn is spicy. I'm not gonna lie. It can be a tad austere at times. And for this group especially, and like I said, I want to mention that these are messages for your journey right now. Whenever you find this is a timeless reading. So messages for your journey right now. These can and will shift throughout your life journey. This will not always be applied at every given point along your journey. So take a shot for how many times I just said the word journey. My God. So North Node in Capricorn can be a little bit austere, right? Thinking about Capricorn, it's ruled by Saturn. Traditionally, it rules the 10th house. And as such, this is all about your statusy. I do this every time without fail, you guys. Your status, your legacy. Oh my God. Maybe some of you are struggling with communication right now because I am having a tough time. But your status, your legacy, your career, it's what you really are building for yourself in this lifetime. And this, when you think about the story of the Wheel of the Zodiac, right? Capricorn 10th house energy is when you start with, the first house, the house of the self, and you go all the way around. This is where you've gone through a lot of personal evolution. You've gone through interpersonal ups and downs that have been, a pretty rich area for growth. And by the time you get to Capricorn 10th house energy, this is where you've really just built a lot for yourself, built a lot in your life because you've gone through so much personal evolution. You've done a lot of work to get to where you are, right? And that's the thing that's, I think, pretty wonderful about Capricorn energy is Capricorn's not afraid to really put in the work. Capricorn's not afraid to put in the work, not afraid to do the hard work now, really put in the grind now in order to get to their long-term goals and visions. Capricorn is also the energy of a boss, a CEO, and because it's ruled by Saturn, this is a person who could also be a wonderful teacher. Saturn is a natural teacher as well. Not always in the most gentle way, but in the way that you most need. And I think we kind of lose track of that a little bit with Saturn. But this is where Saturn really takes the time to, you know what Saturn does? Saturn does this thing where it takes difficult experiences and uses them as teachable moments. That's the entire point of that kind of Saturn energy, where there are restrictions placed upon us as a way of making a point, proving a point, or learning a lesson further, right? Really driving it home. So having your North Node in this sign, again, very specifically aimed at whatever house it's in. Having your North Node in this sign really means that in this lifetime, this is the energy you're being called to move toward, right? Our North Node, so our North and South Node, and I do have a South Node series on this channel if you're interested. Our North and South Node are always opposite from one another on the wheel of the zodiac. And our South Node is the energy that we've already mastered. And our North Node is placed opposite, and we are encouraged to go toward our North Node. And in doing so, we achieve balance at a soul level, right? So this is why our North and South Node are always opposite. So for you guys, this would put your South Node in Cancer. And how I feel this is playing out for you is that you might find, in general, but especially at this point in your life, I'm kind of getting, I'm getting the word catapult. That's really weird. We'll come back to it. In a good way. I love weird. But this is because I feel like for you guys, a huge focus of, or like, maybe not focus of your life. So as I mentioned in my South Node series, your South Node is one of those placements in your chart that's thought to represent a past life. But regardless of whether it's something where you've lived it in a past life or you just naturally are more attuned to the energy of your South Node, it's the energy you've mastered. You know what to do. You're intimately familiar with that energy. And you, like, you know what, I hope this is making sense. You're intimately familiar with that energy. It's also the energy of it's what has served you in a past life, right? So it's what you default to. Not only because you know it so well, but because it worked for you in this past life, right? It's what you have embodied, what you've mastered. And the thing with your South Node is the farther you go into this life journey, the more you're being called toward your North Node, which many assume is your destiny, toward your destiny, the more your South Node energy doesn't work for you, right? So having South Node in Cancer and North Node in Capricorn means that what your North Node is really calling you to do is to, maybe pursue a position of leadership, maybe really pursue building something, building your career, because Cancer is the natural nurturer. Cancer is all about home and family. Cancer is very sensitive, very caring, very protective. And the way that I feel like this is manifesting for you guys, just based on the energy of this axis, but also some of the cards that came out while I was shuffling, is that I feel like you guys might be tempted sometimes to engage in certain patterns, or what I'm hearing is say yes to certain people because you have that sense of affection for them, right? You have that sense of like almost loyalty, that protective nature, right? The people in your inner circle that are like family to you, or literally are your family, your partner, people that you hold near and dear to you. I feel like for this group, you naturally are great with Cancerian energy. You default to it. You know how to be a nurturer. You know how to be that archetypal mother. You know how to, regardless of gender, you know how to offer that emotional support and love to other people, but to the point where the issue is that there's going to come a point on your journey, if it hasn't already happened, where this is not really helping you anymore, and in fact becomes an active hindrance. And the way I feel like this plays out for this group is that many of you might be prone, or may have been prone in the past, to sacrificing your own needs, your own goals especially, in order to take care of the people in your life. Yeah, like sacrificing your own, because again, Capricorn's all about building, right? This could even be where some of you kind of find this, oh, excuse me, I had a hiccup stuck and I was like, it's gonna happen soon. Some of you may have, you know, kind of hit a point on your journey, whether you're there now or this was in the past, where you felt like you kind of had to choose between caretaking for people you love or really going after your own career goals. So this would be like the epitome of like, you know, needing to decide whether you want to pursue more of like a home and family track first, or like, you know, or first and foremost, or a career path first and foremost. That's just one example. But what this really means is that however this manifests for you, I feel like generally speaking, for this, especially what I'm getting in this reading, for those of you who this finds and it resonates with, I feel like you generally will keep your eye on the prize, right? You're generally heading toward your North Node, but the only area where you tend to get stuck is when it comes to the people that you love dearly, the people in your inner circle. And the issue with this is that when we're always giving ourselves away to other things, other people, we're always prioritizing other people, we will never get to where we're supposed to go. And for this group particularly, with North Node and Capricorn, you're being encouraged to, I don't want to say see the bigger picture, but it's kind of like that. You're being encouraged to keep in mind that, gosh, how do I want to say it? You're being encouraged to kind of keep in mind that by pursuing your destiny, pursuing what you really want to build for yourself in this lifetime, right? Because that Capricorn 10th house energy, that's like, again, that's big stuff. This is what you put your name on in this life. When you walk out that earthly door into whatever the hell comes next, this is the thing that you're like, I did this. I made this for myself. Or, I did this with my time. And for a lot of you, I feel like you'll be moving toward that. And then again, the place where you get derailed is like caring for your loved ones, your close loved ones. So this is really what your guides are here to talk to you about at this moment. Again, there are many ways that this can manifest, and it will manifest at different points in your journey in different ways. But this is just at the time you found this, your guides have a message for you about this process. And you could be anywhere, anywhere along this sort of spectrum of like, I'm just starting this journey. Like maybe you just had this realization that you're prone to doing that, and now you're trying to work on healing that. Maybe you're healing people pleaser tendencies. Maybe this is where, you had to be a parent and you literally had to, had to take care of your children, and that's understandably been your top priority, but now you're shifting into a different chapter in your life. Or, things are changing in such a way that you're starting to consider, what do I want to build with my life? Like, what do I want to do? And this is a very daunting question to ask. And this is you being pushed toward your North Node. Something else I'm getting to for some is that with, again, Cancer to Capricorn, the thing they share in common, Cancer's the archetypal mother, Capricorn's the archetypal father. So what they are both trying to figure out how to do is how to parent. And they have oppositional approaches, and the goal is that they meet in the middle and equilibrate to produce like a really holistic, healthy, balanced perspective on parenting, whether it's parenting others or parenting the self, right? So with South Node being in Cancer for you folks and North Node in Capricorn, the way this might manifest for some of you, also I'm sorry about the unsightly burn. I was using a curling iron and accidentally burned my thumb. But for some of you, the way that this is playing out is that you've had a long period of time in your life of being this kind of, nurturing energy toward other people. And for some of you, what you're being encouraged to move toward right now with North Node and Cap is kind of, I don't want to say letting people fall or letting people fail, but I feel like some of you might be coming up to this realization of like, A, I can't save everyone. B, I can't save everyone at the expense of myself. And C, sometimes those difficult moments that I'm trying to help save people from, or I'm trying to protect people from, are the exact breakthrough points that they need, right? And understanding that even in the midst of chaos, in the midst of tragedy, there are teachable moments that will benefit the person involved later on in their life. And that not only can we not save everybody, but sometimes we are denying them the opportunity for growth when we do that. Some of you as well may have, with South Node in Cancer, have this like natural, very nurturing energy. And what you're meant to do in this lifetime, you may have like pretty much like had to mother yourself, mother other people in your family, again, regardless of gender identity or expression. Had to be a caretaker for others, had to protect yourself and others even when that wasn't your job. And for some of you, you're taking those lessons and you're going to be utilizing them to teach others, right? Turning them into teachable moments, turning the wisdom that you have accrued into something that will help build other people, that will help empower other people to get themselves unstuck, to build themselves up. So I know it's a lot I just threw at you, but with that, I want to look at, this is going to be the energy that you're being encouraged to embody. Sorry, I have little bits of fur and fuzz. You're being encouraged to embody at this time to help move you more into your North Node energy. So let's see what you have. Oh, you have the Fool. I love this. Okay. So this is why I feel like a lot of you are at a turning point. I always think of the Fool as Aries energy, but some people think it's Aquarius. So that doesn't have to resonate, but it might. Also love that this card pretty much has the same like haircut that I have right now and like color and everything. Mine's a little shorter, but I'm like, where have I seen that? Oh yeah, it's on my head. Anyway, so this is beautiful. I think this helps balance out kind of that austerity and seriousness that can come with North Node and Capricorn. And this also, like I said, why I feel like a lot of you are in the middle of a turning point. So a lot of you might be kind of reaching this point where your South Node energy isn't really working for you anymore, right? You might be reaching a point, this can look like reaching a point of burnout. If you are, you've had to be a parent and put your kids first, you might be experiencing empty nest syndrome, or there might be where your children are finally more independent. So, they're always going out with friends, they have activities, they have their own life, and you kind of have this extra time on your hands now. This can be where you are, if you've had to take a break for whatever reason, you're re-entering the workforce. But this is the turning point between, I feel like you're right at the midpoint, right? You're kind of moving out of your South Node and you're preparing to move more into your North Node. And the energy you're being asked to embody in this process is one of a lot of optimism. Because I feel like there's something here where you might be kind of a little bit wary of like Capricorn energy because it feels so antithetical to you. And what you're being asked to do is kind of like, excuse my burp, kind of cast off any assumptions about what you feel like this calling would look like, right? We think about Capricorn as very serious, as like, a boss, a CEO, and it doesn't have to play out exactly like that. For example, like I just said earlier, I was actually talking about this with a friend recently, and, we kind of were just spitballing here, but I really liked this conclusion that we came to, which was that, Saturn is the great teacher. So sometimes having North Node in Capricorn isn't so much about being, serious, giving tough love, but it's about taking the wisdom of your experiences and teaching other people, using it to empower other people so they can make the changes to their life that they need to make, so they can build something great for themselves. And, something that they're happy with, something they're proud of. Again, it's the thing that you can put your name on at the end of this life journey. And so sometimes that's what North Node in Capricorn is all about. It's about having to overcome a lot of challenges for yourself, and in such a way that you can then utilize that to help others. Because your South Node energy is very much there, right? So you've already mastered that, and you have the love, you have the caring, you have the nurturing, to be able to then take this wisdom and give it to people in a way that they'll be able to receive, in a way that is kind, but also constructive, right? It's making me think of a friend of mine said this when I had started my tarot reading business, and it sticks with me to this day, and I appreciate every single day that they said this. I was having to give somebody a reading, and the answer to their question looked like it was not going to be a super positive reading, and I was nervous to tell them, and they said to me, they said, I can imagine that's hard, but I have confidence in your ability to say unpleasant things in a kind way. And that's kind of the energy I'm picking up here, is like, I feel like for this group, you might be kind of nervous about moving toward Capricorn energy because you are so loving, you are protective, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, you might be very sensitive, and thus you're very aware of how you make other people feel. So another way to kind of look at this is that you have the kindness, the compassion to be able to share wisdom in a very digestible way that people can receive. It's very soothing and non-inflammatory, and thus it is empowering for people. So this is the energy you're being asked to kind of consider. If you've been thinking about, like I said, a new chapter in your life, or that seems imminent on the horizon, you're being asked to embrace this, right? With like full enthusiasm, full excitement. And it's okay if you don't always know what you're doing. The universe is guiding you. So I really love that. So I pulled these two cards to look at where this might be happening in your life, or what this might be related to. And we have, oh, Jesus. All right. We have card 91 with surrender. And, oh, beautiful. We have card 9 with malachite and eudaimonia. And it says correlated to the energy of Uranus. I'm never going to not laugh at it, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just a human being like all of us. Which is interesting, too, because that's Aquarian energy, which we were talking about with the Fool. Yeah. Okay, so what I feel like for this group, again, this is exactly what we're talking about. First of all, you're in this place of surrendering, right? 91, some of you might be born in 91. But 91 reduces to a 10, which reduces to a 1. So there's, 10s are about the completion, 1s are new beginning. And we have a 9 here. You're in this place of wrapping up / concluding a cycle. But I do feel like there's almost overlap where the conclusion of a cycle and the beginning of a new one are kind of, it's not significantly, like, there's not like a designated point of separation or like huge turning point, but you're in this interim space right now. Which we see with the Fool as well, right? This is a huge new soul cycle that you're starting. So you are wrapping up a lot of your South Node energy and preparing to move more toward your North Node. And this is where you're going to find that I feel like with surrender, you're being asked to encourage asked to surrender, encouraged to surrender. There we go. Some of your, like, all preconceived notions, all beliefs that you might be holding about who you've been and your role, because I feel like a lot of you identify as that protector, that nurturer. That's been part of who you are. That's been part of what you can do, and people, I feel like, go to you for that. So it's not just about who you are and how you are, but it's also about your role, right? Your spiritual role is shifting. That's why this might feel so big and so kind of like awkward. I'm hearing clunky, or like just like not feeling like yourself. That's okay. That's okay. So you're being asked to just surrender any ideas about what this shift in your life means and what it will look like. Because I feel like some of you guys have some strong notions about what you're being encouraged to move toward. We have this eudaimonia energy as well, which I didn't know what that word meant when I originally got this deck, so I had to look it up. It is Greek origin, if my memory serves me correctly, and it's all about a state of inner and outer harmony. And what I feel like this is kind of talking about is surrendering the old in order to stay in flow. We have that Uranus energy. Sorry, guys, I'm trying. We have that Uranus energy, and this is like a sharp left turn, right? A surprise, things just like shifting and changing really quickly. And this is why I feel like you're being asked to surrender, right? This is like, don't hold on to anything if you can, because things are shifting and changing to bring you to where you need to be. I also feel like this is, for some of you, saying this is the need to surrender the desire for everyone to like you, for everything to always be in a peaceful moment. Because I feel like a lot of you, again, with that natural nurturer energy, you might be quick to seek to soothe other people. Again, it's like what we're talking about, where it's like quick to soothe other people, but sometimes people need to, I don't want to say sit in their own mess, but they need to sit in their own discomfort, because that's where the growth is. That's where the learning is. And if we always swoop in to save people from that process, we're preventing them from growing sometimes. And I feel like this group, you're such a love, you're such a sweetheart. I feel like this group, you've been through a lot, and that's why you want to give love to others. And it's what you're going to be being asked to do is be willing to let yourself and other people be a little uncomfortable sometimes, because what it's doing is it's like bringing the changes that will come from that process, bring them into greater harmony and alignment with their higher self, their authentic self. It is the path to growth, but it is not always an easier one nor a linear one. So this is why you're being asked to kind of shed and surrender any preconceived notions, right? About like, oh, I should be stepping in and helping this person. And for some of you, I'm getting, if your parents and your children are kind of more independent or they're off on their own now, this might be around that where you're like, oh God, I gotta go help. Like, I gotta go do something. Like, you know, they kind of fall and they make a mistake, and you're having to kind of step back, right? You're in this place where you're having to kind of surrender a little bit of control. And I feel like where you're being asked to come to terms with the fact that the wisdom and support you offer them while they figure their problems out can be much more valuable sometimes than just going and solving the problem for them, which might be very hard for some of you. So I do feel like this is what it's talking about, but let's see. I want to see what the message is from your spirit guides, and then we'll pull tarot. Oh my God. Oh shit. Okay. Wow. That's a clear ass message. Okay. We have let go. Once you let go of the outcome, you'll be able to release all the emotional constraints that have held you back in the past. Trust in the higher good and guidance of spirit, as we have only your best intentions at heart, and we'll do everything in our power to protect you. That's really, really, really clear. You know, we have a lot of autumn leaves pictured here. So this is a timeless reading. At the time I'm filming it, we are in autumn. This is a season for letting go. But this is a super clear message, especially I love it's the same colors as surrender. Yeah, a lot of you are really being asked to surrender, again, your South Node energy, maybe surrender in a particular situation. It's going to be different for each and every one of you. But surrender, I'm really getting surrender to any preconceived notions about this next chapter in your journey, because I feel like you're going to be in this process of learning quite a lot. And like I said, your spiritual role is shifting. So I want to know more about, okay. I was going to say I want to know more about what you're being asked to surrender. I want to look at the top card, but not take it. Okay, yeah, Knight of Cups reversed. I feel like you're being asked to not rush in and like help people when they're struggling. So we have the Hermit. We have, yeah, the Ten of Wands reversed. Okay. Oh, the Lovers. Okay. The Moon, not surprised. And then the Two of Wands. This is fascinating. Can you guys see this? I'm very good at putting cards out of the frame. Oh, I actually got it this time. Damn. All right. Love it. Love it. Virgo energy here. Gemini energy here. And I always look at the moon as Cancer's energy, but some people see it as Pisces. So do what you will with that. I'm just sitting with this for a second. So right now I feel like you're in this period of, you might be in hermit mode. You're in a period of pause where you're being asked to go in and introspect. And interestingly enough, I looked at this deck before I put it back in the box, and the introspection card was at the bottom. Again, for some of you, this is going to be like empty nest syndrome, where like, you know, maybe your kids have moved out, or they're just much more independent. They're always out doing stuff. This could be where a relationship has fallen apart or changed significantly, and you're having a lot more alone time right now. But you're being asked to go inward at this time. trying to fix it, but I can't. And this is because you've been carrying a lot with the 10 of Wands reversed, and it's time for you to be able to let it go. And what you've been carrying a lot of, I think it's interesting we have another 10. What you've been really carrying a lot of is other people's energy, other people's burdens. And you know, the reason why the person on the 10 of Wands is still holding on to all of that heavy energy is they do it out of love, right? They have passion for what they do. They're connected to what they're holding on to at the soul. And your team wants to acknowledge that that's very hard to let that go, particularly when it comes to our loved ones. And I see this with the lovers here. This might be a love relationship. And the thing is, I feel like, because she's got her little third eye here, which I love this deck. This is the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, and I'd like to be buried with it someday. So take note, whoever shows up, make sure that's with me. So with the snake here as well, you've gone through a huge amount of transformation, or you're going through it now. We have the 2 trodden paths in the grass. So you're getting to decide. Again, you're in this midpoint. It feels like you've completed a huge chapter. You're starting a new one. You know, you've gone through the transformation, or you're on your way through it. With Jupiter here, you've kind of learned you've gotten a new perspective, right? You're able to see your journey, at least at this point in time. I feel like you're kind of zoomed out, and you're able to see your journey from a much more spiritual perspective, right? You're not as much in the middle of it. And this might be the point of this hermit period, is that you're not so embroiled in it. You're not so much tangled in the middle of this. You're kind of zooming out. And with the third eye open here, you know, the lovers, in addition to being about a love relationship, is really about the need to pick your path based on what's true to you in the heart and soul, what you absolutely love unequivocally. And I feel like that's what you felt like you were doing by choosing your loved ones, by choosing to kind of step in or help out or just anything like that, be really involved. And I feel like you're gaining a fresh perspective about, like, maybe that's not always helping both them and me. And you're kind of thinking about, you know, whether this is something that you're thinking about, just you're in this internal shift, or this was triggered by an outside event, like a child leaving, leaving home, like re-entering the workforce, like the loss of a job, however this resonates for you. Because you've been just carrying so much throughout this process. And you've been carrying so much, like, energetically. And I feel like you're at this point where you're really looking at the situation again. And again, with the third eye open, you're kind of like connecting to your spirituality. You're looking at your options. And I feel like you guys intuitively know what you need to do. That's partially what the 2 of Wands is about for me as well. You know what you need to do intuitively, but what's kind of standing between you making this choice and going for it is this fear with the moon. And the moon is not only our emotions, but it's also our subconscious. And it's interesting, we have pretty much a new moon here as well. So there's this fear of a new cycle. And this may have actually been triggered, again, timeless reading, but at the time I'm filming, we just had the new moon eclipse in Scorpio. So this may have been kind of triggered by that for a lot of reasons. I won't get into it here. I did do a reading about it. So if you're interested, you can always go check that out. But I want to pull a clarifier for the moon. I feel like it's this one, hands down. I do want to know what it was. 10 of Cups reversed. Yeah, okay. I'm not surprised. The Empress reversed. Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. And like, we did have that 10 of Cups reversed as well. This has everything to do with home and family, but the Empress is a mother archetype, right? She's all 4 queens of the tarot in one. There's something here where you have this mothering archetype. We have Taurus and Libra here as well, by the way. You have this mothering energy, this mothering archetype, and this is what you've known, not just in this life, but probably in a past life as well. This is what you know how to do. And this is what has served you up until a point. And I feel like this is hard because it's not working for you anymore. And some of you are kind of like trying to figure out what your new role is and where it all fits in. For some of you, if you don't actively have children, but you have been a nurturer, been, that caretaker, that maternal archetype for other people, this may have come out of not getting that unconditionally loving energy yourself, right? And so it's like, I believe, again, there's like the sense of belief, like I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in helping people like this. And I think a lot of you guys are at this place where you're seeing a new way to help people, but it feels, you're trying to reconcile that with who you've been, right? And it's both, you know, reconcile it consciously, but also just like in the subconscious, the unconscious, because I think your first go-to in the past has always been, and even possibly now, has always been to comfort people, to nurture people, to take care of things for people. And that has served a purpose and a point, but that is now changing. So I want to know what this is bringing in for you as a result. And for many of you, like I said, it's going to be very different. Strength. Okay, we like that. Leo energy. Excuse my burp. I'm sorry. Was not expecting that. Ooh, surprise. But I want to know what this is bringing in for you. Okay, 7 of Swords. 2 of Swords. Wow. And the 6 of Wands. Nice. Okay. So there's something where, you know, with the 7 of Swords and the 2 of Swords, there's something about this whole process, again, that I feel like you're not getting a clear picture on, and it's kind of keeping you stuck. And what's coming in for you is victory and success, right? But I feel like it's hard because you're kind of, see how this person's looking forward and these two people are looking back? Like you're still kind of looking back a little bit and like trying to figure out how do I let go of this, especially if you are a parent, like you're literally a parent. It's like, well, I can't let go of my role, but how do I hold this in equal value and measure with this new phase of my life I'm going into? And what you don't really see is that there is victory and success up ahead, right? I want to know how this plays in with your North Node energy more, though, because I want to just get some greater details. No, not that one. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it's that one. Surprising. Yeah, Knight of Wands reversed at the bottom. I feel like there's hesitancy about fully embracing this new spiritual cycle for you. But we have, woo, the Magician. Yes. Woo, Queen of Cups. Okay. And then the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So this is, you know, this is that Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have Gemini and Virgo here. This is what you have mastered, and this will serve you. This will continue to serve you. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's like you have the nurturing, the kindness, the empathy, the compassion. This will do nothing but serve you and others. However, excuse me, your North Node is calling for you to seize your power, especially when it comes to how you conceptualize yourself and what you can do, right? The Magician has each of the 4 tools, right? A cup, a sword, a pentacle, and a wand. Like they have all the tools they need to make this happen, but I feel like you're over-identify with your cup more than anything else. Like when you think about your talents and your skills, you see yourself as the Queen of Cups, and rightfully so. But what your North Node energy is really trying to do is get you to expand your concept of what you can do, what you can bring to the table. And this is tough with the 10 of Pentacles reversed, because your concept of self is so foundational to you, because it's not only been this life experience, but it's been your past life experience. And what your North Node wants you to know is that it's okay to take the next steps, even if you don't know what those are yet. It's okay to take a leap forward. What I'm getting here too with the Magician, it's also okay to manifest manifest a new chapter for yourself just based on what you want. You don't have to do, like, again, it doesn't always have to be for other people. It's okay to decide where you want to go or what you want to do next based on what you want. And some of you have never really had the time and ability to ask yourself, what do I want? Like, some of you might be like, oh yeah, that's true. But the second this reading is done, if you sit there and you think about it for a minute, if you're like, well, what do I want? It will be crickets. And that's okay. That's okay. This is why with the Fool, you're being asked to kind of just like clean slate, tabula rasa, be receptive and open to whatever, sparks your interest, to whatever offers you get, to whatever skills you're enjoying learning. Just be like almost childlike, like the Fool. You've been the mother, you've been the maternal archetype. Now you get the chance to kind of be the child and sort of allow yourself to build. Allow yourself to build a foundation for yourself that you're going to enjoy, and allow yourself to expand past your preconceived notions of who you are and what you bring to the table, because you possess many gifts and talents of the soul, and it's time to explore those further. And these will do nothing but serve you as you move forward, and then also serve others, right? Your role as this Queen of Cups, this loving, nurturing person, it doesn't end here just because you're moving to something new and something different. You don't stop being that version of yourself. You just temper it with more skills to offer people, more understanding, more wisdom, more knowledge, right? And so you're really being encouraged at this time to know that it's okay to let go of something that feels like it's your whole personality, right? It's okay to let the ego death happen, because you're springing forth anew, and that's okay. And there is success in that waiting for you. So I think this is just about everything I have for you guys. I hope this has been helpful. If you're looking for this reading for yourself, like I said, please email, please DM. I'm happy to make a custom reading because these are super duper cool. I am wishing you guys the best, the brightest, most beautiful things that life has to offer. And with that, I'll bid you goodbye for now. I love you guys to pieces. Take care. Bye.